All right, students, here's your presentation for War in the West, section 16.3, pages 522 through 525 of your book. Let's start off with the Union strategy in the West. Union strategy in the West: divide and conquer, Anaconda Plan. Control the Mississippi River Valley, divide the South in half, squeeze it into submission. Union leaders in the West, very different than Union leaders in the East. Union leaders in the West are competent, skilled, tactically sound. You have men from Ohio like Ulysses S. Grant and William Tecumseh Sherman kicking butt in the West, while Robert E. Lee is kicking butt in the East. So let's start off here with Fort Donelson. This is what I would argue is the turning point of the war. Confederates lose about 14,000 men here, and they don't have the manpower to recover from this in the West. Ulysses S. Grant seizes Fort Henry. Then he surprise attacks Fort Donelson from behind. The Confederates lose 14,000 men early on in the war in February 1862. This paves the way for the Battle of Shiloh. This was the costliest battle in American history up until that time. Union casualties, 13,000. Confederate casualties, about 10,700. Even though the Confederacy lose more men or lose less men, they end up losing this battle because the Union takes key terrain and they seize key objective areas. At this time period, Ulysses Grant's becoming a folk hero. He's nicknamed Unconditional Surrender Grant at Fort Donelson. Battle of Shiloh, keeps taking the fight to the Confederacy. He's not hesitant like other Union leaders in the East. So, Battle of Shiloh. Then we have the fall of New Orleans in May of 1862. Things are not working out well for the Confederacy in the West. The port of New Orleans falls. The Union, with its superior navy, leads like a surprise attack into New Orleans. They easily take the port of New Orleans. This right here will help further the Anaconda Plan, help further their divide and conquer strategy, and this will later enable the siege of Vicksburg, which is the last Confederate stronghold on the Mississippi River. This is a major turning point in the war, and also an incident of international importance. At this time period, the Brits are deciding whether or not they're going to support the Confederacy. They look at this and say, there's not that much trade coming down the Mississippi River through the port of New Orleans. Maybe we don't want to ally ourselves with the Confederacy at this time period. All right, this leads the way for the siege of Vicksburg. July 4th, 1863, Vicksburg falls, the last Confederate stronghold on the Mississippi River. This was a nasty siege. You ever hear the term hungry as a horse? Well, the Confederates were hungry as a horse. They were eating their horses to survive. They finally give in July 4th, 1863. The same day, Gettysburg occurs, and I consider these two events to be knockout blows. The writing is on the wall after this, and the writing is on the wall that the Confederacy will lose this war. And the fall of Vicksburg, this completes the second part of the Northern strategy, the Anaconda Plan. And this is where Ulysses S. Grant, again, becomes more of a hero. This is a picture of Grant at Vicksburg with ironclads in the background. All right, there were some skirmishes as far west as modern-day Arizona. This is the furthest western battle in the Civil War. Texas Rangers fought California militiamen in southern Arizona at the Battle of Picacho Pass. So there's minor skirmishes out west also, as far west as Arizona and Missouri. You have Confederate bushwhackers going up against Kansas Jayhawkers. Pro-Union guys versus Confederate guys, pro-slavery guys versus anti-slavery guys. The fighting there in Missouri and Kansas is relatively bloody and nasty. Slavery is banned and martial law is enacted, and some slave owners' property is burned. Now, Indian territory. Most of the Indians sided with the Confederacy during this time period. And Lincoln was kind of brutal with the Indians. He hung a bunch of Dakota Indians around the Dakota Sioux area. They had the Sand Creek Massacre in Colorado, in which men, women, and children were slaughtered by the Union Army during this time period. So some nasty stuff happened to Indians during this war. Most of them sided with the Confederacy, like the Cherokee Braves, who the Atlanta Braves are named after. So, all right, hope you guys have a good day. Take care.